Good evening friends. Today we are going to discuss about direct tax applicable for the year 2024-25. We have two regimes, old regime and new regime for the year assessment year 2024-25. In old regime up to 2,50,000 nil tax, 2,50,001 to 5 lakh 5%, from 5 lakh 1 to 10 lakh 20%, above 10 lakhs 30% will be charged as income tax, that is direct tax. For new regime up to 3 lakhs nil tax rate, from 3 lakh 1 to 6 lakhs 5%, from 6 lakh 1 to 9 lakh 10%, and 9 lakh 1 to 12 lakh 15%, 12 lakh 1 to 15 lakh 20%, above 15 lakhs 30 lakhs will be chargeable as income tax for the year, for the assessment year 24-25. Next we are going to see 80C and 80EE, 80D and all in next slides. The key difference in new regime and old regime are assessee cannot claim in old regime 80C, 80D and 80TTA, that is savings from savings in case of LIC, in case of PPF, in case of NSC bonds and education tuition fee and all. We assessee cannot claim in new regime, whereas he can claim these 80C and 80D, 80DTA can claim in old regime. In new regime, the tax is applicable depending on the income bracket as shown in previous slide. Next, we are discussing about applicability of allowances and exemption for old regime and new regime. The income tax, the income level for rebate eligibility is 5 lakhs for old regime, 7 lakhs for new regime. Standard deduction 50,000 is applicable for both regime. The rebate under section 87A is 12,500 for old regime, 25,000 for new regime. HRA exemptions. See, in old regime we have HRA calculation, that allowance exemption calculation, like rent paid, 10% of the salary, and city based on city 50% or 60% of salary, whichever is higher, that we can claim it as HRA exemption in old regime, whereas you cannot avail the HRA exemption in new regime. Like that, leave travel allowance also we can claim in old regime, whereas you cannot claim in new tax regime. Further, other allowances is also claimable in old regime, whereas in new tax regime you cannot claim other allowances, including food allowances of rupees 50 meal, subject to 2 meals a day. Standard deduction already we have discussed, 50,000 is eligible for both regime, and perquisite for official purposes only you can claim in old regime, and as well as new tax regime also you can claim. Interest on home loan, self-occupied house, from see example, if you are having, if an assessee is having house, and against that he has availed a loan from bank or financial institution, he can claim interest in with respect to old regime, and the assessee cannot claim in new regime. But in case of Let out property, interest on home loan is claimable for both regime. Further, ATC is only applicable for old regime like LIC, EPF, tuition fees of children's and fixed deposit PPF. You can claim in old regime, whereas you cannot claim in new regime. Employee own contribution to NPS National Pension Scheme is only eligible for old regime and not for new regime. Like employer contribution to NPS is available for you can claim in old regime as well as new tax regime. ATD, see insurance premium against medical insurance by the assessee can claim old regime and not new regime. Disabled individual ATU, a mediclaim is the medical expenses under section 80U. You can claim under old regime, you cannot claim under new tax regime. And interest on education loan also you can claim in old regime and you cannot claim in new tax regime. Interest on e-vehicle, see if you are availed interest that loan for purchasing electric vehicle, you can claim the interest portion alone under section 80 EEB only in old regime and not new regime. Donation to political party and or donation to trust, etc. You can under section 80G you can claim under old regime and not new regime. Like that, saving bank interest 80TA and 80TB you can claim in old regime and you cannot claim in new tax regime. Further, all contribution to Agnivir Corpus and deduction on family pension income, gifts up to 50,000, exemption on voluntary retirement under section 10C, exemption on gratuity under section 1010, you can claim in both regime. That's all. End of the day. If you have any doubt, please reach me at harsha0710 @gmail.com. Please subscribe and share the video to your friends. See you tomorrow.